Modern life follows a rigid, relentless eating schedule. You eat breakfast upon waking, grab a mid-morning snack, sit for lunch, take an afternoon pick-me-up, have dinner, and often finish with a bedtime snack. Cultural and medical guidelines frequently reinforce the idea that missing even a single meal is a health risk, insisting we must eat constantly to maintain our energy. Yet, despite eating 5 or 6 times every day, we are facing an unprecedented global epidemic of obesity and metabolic disease. Dr. Jason Fung identifies this as a hormonal imbalance driven by insulin, rather than a simple math problem of calories in versus calories out. Attempting to fix a hormonal issue with calorie counting is ineffective. Lasting weight loss requires addressing insulin levels directly. One of the most effective tools for regulating insulin is fasting, a practice that is widely recognized throughout history but largely forgotten in modern nutrition. Fasting is distinct from starvation. Starvation is the involuntary, unpredictable lack of food, while fasting is a voluntary, controlled choice to abstain for health or spiritual reasons. The human body evolved to survive and thrive during cycles of feast and famine, making periods without food an evolutionary default for our ancestors. Utilizing this tool requires moving past the fear of missing a meal to examine the specific biological timeline that begins the moment we stop eating. The timeline begins at hour 0, immediately following your last meal. Eating causes insulin to rise, which signals the body to store excess food energy in the liver as glycogen. Glycogen is a short-term energy reserve made of linked glucose molecules. Between 6 and 24 hours after eating, you enter the post-absorptive phase. As insulin falls, the liver breaks down stored glycogen to provide steady energy. By 24 hours, these stores are completely depleted. This depletion serves as the physiological trigger for the body to transition from burning sugar to burning stored body fat. As the fast reaches the 24 to 48-hour window, it confronts the common fear that metabolism will crash as the body enters a starvation mode. This chart shows how resting energy expenditure actually increases during a fast. Clinical data indicates that levels of norepinephrine, a neurotransmitter that prepares the body for action, spike, raising the metabolic rate by 12%. Another widespread concern is that the body will meet its energy needs by cannibalizing its own muscle tissue. To prevent muscle loss, the body increases production of human growth hormone by as much as 1,200%. This surge preserves lean tissue and maintains bone density, forcing the body to rely almost exclusively on fat for fuel. From an evolutionary perspective, the body increases energy and maintains strength during a fast so that an individual has the physical capacity to find their next meal. There is also a persistent belief that the brain requires a constant intake of dietary sugar to function and will shut down without it. When stored sugar is unavailable, the liver begins producing ketones, energy molecules derived directly from the metabolism of stored body fat. These ketones cross the blood-brain barrier to provide up to 75% of the brain's energy, often resulting in heightened mental focus and cognitive power. Fasting shifts the brain's fuel source from dietary sugar to fat-derived ketones, maintaining high levels of energy without the need for incoming food. This biological timeline reframes body fat as a high-capacity energy reserve intended for use during periods when food is scarce. Accessing these reserves leads to significant clinical improvements, including lower blood pressure, reduced cholesterol levels, and increased insulin sensitivity. Medical clinics have demonstrated that this process can effectively reverse type 2 diabetes, often eliminating the need for a pharmaceutical intervention. Fasting represents a validated medical intervention that utilizes the body's existing metabolic hardware to restore health. These clinical truths stand in opposition to a food industry that relies on the constant consumption of processed food and snacks. Thinkers like Mark Twain have long advocated for fasting, viewing it as a natural method for the body to heal itself. Extending the time between meals provides the body with the necessary window to move past digestion and begin cellular repair. Embracing fasting activates the body's built-in mechanism for metabolic recovery and long-term health.